honey. I didn't mean to.
Let's be honest. Everyone on this show needs therapy. Across the board, 100%. Every single character. And this is going to be a little bit of a deep dive in regards to Butcher. So, since season 1, Butcher has always had something along the lines of a soft spot for Hughie, where he cared about Hughie a lot more than he did his team. Where he saw his team as basically chess pieces, he saw Hughie as something a little bit more. He still was diabolical enough to use Hughie to basically get exactly what he wanted, but at the exact same time, he actually cared about Hughie's feelings. And we see that at the end of season 2 and beginning of season 3, where he's basically semi-retired because he feels as though Hughie kind of won and he doesn't want to mess up this thing that Hughie's got going on. Right up until he discovers that this thing is absolute fucking bullshit, and then he reverts back to the Butcher that we know and love. But during season 2, he goes to visit his mom and his father, and they hint at the fact that it ended badly for his younger brother. And it always felt as though the younger brother tried to follow in Butcher's footsteps and probably join the military, and he died for that. Now we discover that that was not the case at all. Basically, the home in which Butcher grew up in was nothing but child abuse, 24/7. And no matter how hard he tried not to be like his father, he took the lessons of that abuse and applied it to the real world and became another version of his father. And you could even say he became a more brutal version of his father. And we see that when he attacks the dean of the school, where it's a flashback where you see the father beating him with a belt, but instead he's beating the dean within an inch of his life with a stapler. And his brother comes running in to try and stop him, and he turns around, he hits his brother the exact same way that his father would hit him if he tried to break up basically the father beating Butcher. And there's a brief flash where you see Hughie, where basically Butcher is reliving the trauma of his childhood in regards to Hughie and his little brother, where he feels as though he failed his little brother. He failed to save him. He left him to the wolves, and the wolf being his father ended up leading to his demise. He's kind of sort of trying not to fail Hughie. But at the exact same time, there's the sinister side of Butcher that the hallucination of his brother points out later on, which is he uses and uses and uses people, and he grinds them up and he gets them killed, and eventually he moves on and the train wreck continues, and he does the same thing to someone else. He uses them, he grinds them up, he gets them killed, and he moves on again. And the brother blames him for that because he learned all of his lessons from his dad, that he is basically a heartless son of a bitch, the exact same way that his father was, even though he's trying not to be, because you see in the flashback that he's remorseful. Like, he feels as though he shouldn't have left his brother behind. He should have took his brother with him. He should have been there for his brother. He should have protected him. He should have been the one taking the shots. But he had also moved on to other things, and he didn't want to essentially go back to that abusive life that he had just escaped. And because of that, he essentially, like his brother's hallucination said, he served him up on a platter to their father. Now that the father could no longer beat Butcher, he beat the younger brother twice as hard. And because of that, because he wasn't as strong as Butcher to get the hell out of there, he ended up taking his own life. Now, of course, when Butcher meets Hughie, he sees Hughie as basically being as pathetic as his brother. However, Hughie does something that I would say kind of sort of shocks Butcher, which is he mans up and he's willing to follow Butcher, even though, and I would even say he's willing to disagree with Butcher, even more so than the team. He strikes out on his own, he argues with Butcher, but at the exact same time, he's willing to be by his side. And this is where a theory of mine comes into play from the Herogasm episode, where Butcher and Hughie both have Homelander down on the ground, and Soldier Boy is essentially charging his... You have no idea how hard it is to say Soldier Boy and not Captain America. But Soldier Boy is essentially charging his energy blast. And he looks over at Hughie and he tells Hughie to get out of there. Throughout the entire fight, Butcher is only focused on Homelander. He is zeroed in on Homelander. He's getting punched in the face. He's freaking smiling. Like Homelander's choking him up against the wall. He's choking him back. Focused. The moment Hughie has Homelander pinned and he sees that Soldier Boy is charging him his attack, he realizes this is the end. Soldier Boy is going to survive, sure, because it's his energy blast. Homelander's going to die. I'm going to die. And oh shit, Hughie's going to die. And at that moment, he does not take his eyes off of Hughie. He's constantly looking in Hughie's direction because he's afraid that Hughie's going to die. Because the first thing he says is, Hughie, get out of here. He doesn't even reference that to MM. Like, MM gets knocked out. He walks up, checks his pulse, keeps it moving to go fight Homelander. But for Hughie, he tells Hughie to get the hell out of there. And it's the exact same thing going into this, where he actually cares about Hughie. Soldier Boy decks Hughie in the face, sends him back 5 feet. Butcher automatically activates his eyes like he's going to cut him in half. And then he remembers, I need this motherfucker in order to kill Homelander. I can't kill you yet. And he goes to go check on Hughie. But here's the thing. No matter how much he loves Hughie, he hates Homelander more. So it would be Homelander would be like Homelander basically says in the Hero Gasm episode, it's all about me, isn't it? Because yes, it is all about you. All of Butcher's rage has been directed at Homelander for the better part of a decade because he thought Homelander killed Becca. This entire situation with him losing Becca again was because of Homelander and his bullshit machinations with Stormfront. He despises Homelander, and his hatred of Homelander is basically suppressing whatever feelings he would have to keep Hughie out of harm. Because with Hughie, he knows that he's going to get this fucking job done. But at the exact same time, he knows that taking Hughie on this job is probably going to get him killed. And I fucking love that dynamic. I love when shows do these deep dives into character psyches, where you get to learn more about the character and understand where that character is coming from and why the character is making the moves that he's making. Because now the TV show version of Butcher is kind of lining up with the comic book version of Butcher, which is basically going to lead to him, like he said way long ago, scorched earth, where everything has to go. Everything everything and everyone I've ever used to get to this point gotta go. Homelander's gotta go. The team's gotta go. But I have a nagging suspicion that once Homelander, like I said, the guy who's at the top, once he's gone, that love that he has for Hughie is going to be both his salvation and his downfall. But that's the end of the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.